Hey, what's up everyone and welcome to Daily Code Buffer. In this video, we are going to see how to implement JWT authorization in Spring Boot. So let's get started. Now, what is JWT? JWT stands for JSON Web Tokens. So it provides us a way to authorize our API request using a token based authentication. We already know that in the typical form we do authentication and authorization on the server level, and we maintain those authorizations and authentication into a session management. Okay, so we'll be using an HTTP session management to save all our sessions and to do the authorizations of all the requests. But here what we will be doing is we will be creating a stateless HTTP request and stateless HTTP API so that all our sessions won't be maintained by the server. We will be handling all the authorizations and authentication using the JWT tokens. So what basically we'll be doing is we will be creating one API that will authenticate our username and password what we provide to login. Okay, based on the credentials that we provide to the server, authentication will happen at the server level and JWT token will be created, and that JWT token will be passed to the client. Now client is responsible to send that JWT token to the every request sent to the server, and server will authenticate that JWT token and will proceed ahead with the request. So this is how the JWT token works. Okay, now JWT token consists of three parts: the header, the payload body, and the signature. Now in the header part, it will be defined which of the algorithm is being used to encode and decode the entire JWT token, and the body will contain all the values that are being used to pass the information. So it is advisable to not to store any of the valuable information in the payload of the JWT. Now the last part is the signature. That signature will be created based on the server authentication. JWT will be helpful when there are a lot of microservices and each and every request should be authenticated based on the microservices which you are calling. There should be an authentication server that will authenticate your request and create the JWT token for you, and that JWT token you will be using for the each and every request to call your microservices. So that will create your stateless architecture and no sessions will be created on any of the servers. So there will be no concept like sticky sessions or anything. Whenever you request, you will be sending your JWT token, and whichever server it goes, it will authenticate the token and it will proceed with your request. So now let's create the Spring Boot application. There we'll be implementing the Spring Security and JWT as well. We'll go to the Spring Initializer, and here we'll give daily code buffer. Okay, artifact ID as we'll give JWT demo. Description also I'll give the same. Okay, and package I'll give JWT, and my packaging would be of jar type, Java version 11, and I'll add the dependency. I'll add the web dependency so I can create the APIs. I'll add the Lombok dependency so that I can create the boilerplate code, and I'll also add Spring Security. So I'm adding just these three dependencies as of now, and we'll create the simple project with Spring Security, and later we will be implementing the JWT. So let's generate the project and open an IntelliJ IDEA. So this is my project. Okay, this is my main class JWT application, and this is the resources. Let's create one application.yaml file so that we can add the properties over there. Application.yml file. Okay, here I will add the property server.port, and my application will run on port 8083. Now I'll create few of the packages to create the classes. I'll be creating the model package to create the models. I'll create the service package, I'll create the controller package, and I'll create the configuration package to create the configurations. So let's go and create the package. I'll create the model package, controller, service, and config. Okay, Now what we'll do, we will create a security configuration. Okay, so we'll create a configuration file, Java class over here in the configuration package, and we'll implement security configuration class. So this will extend web security configurer adapter class. Okay, and here we need to override a configure method. Okay, so we'll just override the configure method. So we will use the web configure method where it is taking authentication manager builder as an input parameter. Okay, so we are overriding this method, and here we will do auth dot user details service. Okay, so we'll be implementing a custom user details service. Spring Security provides the user details service, and we need to use our users which are stored in our database. Okay, so generally what we'll be doing is we'll be getting the users from the database, and for that users will be creating the custom user object. So here what we have to do is we have to create a user service over here, and that user service will get the user detail from the database and send that user information. So here we are not implementing the database layer, we will be just implementing the service layer, and I will just create a dummy user and will send it over here. So let me just create the user service over here so that I can use that user service over here, this part. Okay, so I'll just go to the user service and we'll create the new class user service. Okay, I will annotate this with @service. So this is the custom user service that we are creating to use the Spring Security. So we'll be implementing the user detail service over here. So we'll just implement user detail service over here, and we need to implement the method over here. Okay, so this is the method that we need to implement, that is load user by username. Here we'll be getting the username. Okay, and whenever the username is passed over here, what generally we'll do is we'll have a logic to get the user from the database. So here we'll be writing the logic to get that user from the username which is provided over here from the database, and that user we will pass over here. So this is the logic that you will be implementing in your application. I'll be just creating the dummy object over here and returning back. Okay, so I'll be just returning new user, and this user will be of type Spring Framework Security. Okay, and this user will take username. I'll just give admin, and I'll just give password over here as a password, and it will take the roles. So I'll just give the empty over here. Okay, I'll just create the empty array list. So this is a custom user service that is created, and we are implementing user detail service from the Spring Security, and we override the method load user by username. We are getting the username, we will be adding the logic over here to get the user from the database, and we will be converting that user to the users model. Okay, user class of the Spring Security, and we are sending the data back. Now this user service we need to use in our Spring configuration. So let's just auto wire this over here. Okay, and we need to pass this custom service over here. So we created the security configuration class which is extending web security configurer adapter, and this has to be annotated with configuration, and we need to enable web security as well. Good. So our Spring Security is in place. We have not done anything related to JWT yet. This is just a simple Spring Security configuration. Now we will be creating one controller over here. So let's create the controller. I'll just name home controller. Okay, I'll annotate this with @rest controller, and I'll create the method public string home, and will return welcome to daily code buffer. So this is just a home method I created, and I'll map with get mapping with the root URL. Okay, so whenever we are trying to open the application, we should be treated with welcome to daily code buffer, but before that our request should be authenticated. So Spring Security will come in picture and it will ask for the credentials, and we will give the credentials whatever we have. So we have only one user, that is a dummy user we created, and that user is admin. Okay, and the password is password over here. So we'll give this information to authenticate ourselves and will be into our application. Now one more thing that we have to do, we have to use the password encoder. Okay, so by default there is no password encoder over here. Okay, we won't be getting any password encoder object, so we need to add that. So we'll just go to the main class over here and we'll add the password encoder. So we'll just add the method that will create the password encoder for us. Okay, so I'll just add public that will return password encoder, and that will return no op password encoder. Okay, dot get instance. Now we are not using any password encoder over here, we are just creating this simple password encoder. Because we are using the simple password over here, we are not encoding or decoding the password, we are just using the plain password over here. So I'm using the no op password encoder. Okay, just create the bean of it, and my application is running on port 8083. So let's start this application and we will see that our Spring Security is working or not. Okay, so let's just start the application. You can see the application is started. Let's go to the browser and let's open localhost 8083. So you can see that it directly redirected me to the login page. This login page is from the Spring Security. Now we need to give the credentials information that we have defined, or the credentials that we have in our system. So we created one user, that is admin, so we'll give that information over here. We'll give admin and password as password what we give over here, and when we sign in over here, okay, you can see that we are able to get the page. So this is just a simple Spring Security implementation. Now what we'll do is we'll be implementing the JWT. So now let's go and add the JWT libraries, and what we'll be doing is we'll be creating one more method to authenticate the request and to create the JWT token. And from next on we'll be passing that JWT token every time when we have to perform any actions onto our server. So let's go back to the IntelliJ IDEA. Let's go to the pom.xml file and we'll be adding this dependency JWT, that is JSON Web Token, and we'll be adding the dependency JXB API. Okay, this is the two dependencies that I added, JXB API from javax.xml bind and JWT from io.json web token. Now I'll create the JWT utility file over here, and that will be responsible to have all the behaviors of the JWT, to create a token, to validate a token, and all the other methods. So let's see that. Okay, so I'll just create the package over here. Okay, utility, and inside this package I'll create the class JWT utility. I'll add component over here as I'll implement serialization. Now to save the time, I'm adding all the methods over here. Okay, and I'll explain you what all the methods are there. Okay, so this is the entire JWT utility class. Okay, now you can see that there are different methods available over here. Let's first go to the generate token method. Okay, so this method will generate the JWT token for us. What it is taking as an input is a user details. Okay, so with the user details as an input parameter, it's fetching the username from there, from the user details, and the claims. So I'm just creating the hash map over here of the claims, and we have a do generate token method over here. Okay, so you can see that in the do generate token method we are using the JWT libraries that we imported over in the pom.xml file. We are using the JWTs class and its builder, and I am setting the claim what we are passing over here and the subject that we are passing over here. Okay, we are using that, and we are setting the issue time of the token and the expiration time of the token. Okay, so this is very important, like when the token was issued and when that token should be expired. So we are setting those information. So we are setting that issue time is the current time and it should expire after the JWT token validity into 1000, that is a millisecond. Okay, so we are creating around 5 hours of time. Okay, You can see that 5 into 60 into 60. We are using the algorithm. So which algorithm we are using, that information we have to give over here. You can see that if I open over here, you can see that there are a lot of algorithms that we can use of. Okay. So we are using HS512 algorithm. There is different algorithms that you can choose for. And we will be doing the compact method to compact our JWT so it's compatible with our URLs. So this will generate the token and the token will be returned as a string format and we can pass the token to the APIs. Now there is a method to validate the token as well, that we will be passing a token and the user details. So it will validate, okay, the token which we have sent with the user information is correct. So there is a method to check the expiration of the token as well. Is token expired? And there is a method to get the username from the token, get the expiration date from the token, get claims from the token. So these are all methods that I have added over here. I'll be adding this code in the GitHub and I'll add the link in the description below so you can check this code out. Okay. So these are all the basic utility methods that I have added in the JWT utility, and we'll be using this method to generate the token and to validate our tokens and to get the username from the token and all those different things. Okay. So this is a very simple thing over here. Now what we'll do, we'll be creating one authenticate API. So that will authenticate the user information, username and password which we are sending, and on the basis of that it will create the JWT token for us and it will return the JWT token so that we can use in the later APIs. Okay. So let's go to the controller and here we'll be creating a method to authenticate. Now here we'll be getting the username and password as an input parameter, so that's as a request body, and we'll be sending the JWT token as a response. So I'll create the two models over here, JWT request and JWT response, to encapsulate those fields over there. Okay. So let's just go to the model and create those two models. So I'll just go to the model and create new class, that is JWT request. This will contain private string username and private string password. Okay. As we are using Lombok over here, I can directly annotate this with data, so it will have all the getter setters. I will add the all argument constructor and I will add no argument constructor as well. Now I'll create the JWT response. Now this JWT response will have JWT token. Okay, so that will generate and pass it over back. This also will annotate with @data with all arg constructor and no args constructor. Cool. And now we will go to the controller and we will create the method. So we'll create public which will return JWT response, response, and the method will be authenticate. That will take JWT request as an input parameter, which will be my request body. I will annotate with post mapping. Okay. And the URL I'll give is authenticate. Now what I have to do over here is I have to authenticate my username and password with the authentication manager from the Spring Security, and if it's valid then I have to create the JWT token and to return back. So for that we'll be using the JWT utility and the authentication manager from the Spring. So let's create those members over here. Okay. So we'll be creating the private JWT utility and I will auto wire it. And I will be also creating authentication manager. Okay. Auto wire. Now this authentication manager we need to create the bean over here. So we'll just go to the Spring Security. So we created the file, right? Security configuration over here, and here we'll create the method for the authentication manager. Okay. We'll override the method over here. Okay. And I'll annotate with bean. So we'll get this bean information in our controller, and we'll be also needing our custom user details service that we have created. So that is user service. Okay. And we'll auto wire it. Now what we'll do over here is from the JWT request we'll get the username and password. We will check in the authentication manager if they are authenticated, if the credentials are correct or not. If so, then we'll create the JWT token. So let's do that. We'll do authentication manager dot authenticate, and we'll create the new class of username password authentication token, and here we need to give username, that is JWT request dot get username and JWT request dot get password. Okay, now we will add this information in try catch. And we'll catch bad credentials exception E, and we'll return new exception that says invalid credentials, and we'll add the information over here. This will throws exception. Okay, I need to add throw over here, right? Now you can see that the authentication is done. Now once the authentication is completed, we need to create the JWT token. So let's create that. So first we'll create the user details object from the username that we have. Okay, so we'll just create final user details from the Spring Security. Okay, equals to, we'll be using the user service dot load user by username, and here we'll be passing JWT request dot get username. Okay, so we'll be getting the user details from here. Now we need to get the token, so we'll use final string token equals to JWT utility that we created dot generate token, and this generate token will take the user details as an input parameter. So we'll give the user details and token will be created. Now once the token is created, we need to wrap this token into the JWT response and need to send back. So we'll do return new JWT response. Inside this we need to pass the token. So whenever we'll do the slash authenticate and we'll pass the JWT request with username and password, it will create the token for us. Now everything is done. Now what we have to do is, we have used the secret over here, right? So if you go to the JWT utility, you can see that we have used the secret key over here. Okay, so this secret key we are getting from the application.properties or application.yaml. Okay, so we need to add this information. So let's go and add this. Okay, we need to have one security key. So let's go to the application.yaml file and let's add the security key. JWT colon secret. I'll just add secret key 123. We need to run this. Okay, let's run this and check in the Postman. So you can see that the application is started. Let's open the Postman. Okay, let's do the new request. Okay, localhost 8083 with slash with the get. Okay, we should be getting the unauthorized error. So I'm not authorized to access this API as of now. Okay, so what I have to do is, I have to do the authenticate first. Okay, let's see the authenticate first. Okay, authenticate will change to post. We'll have the body information raw, it should be JSON. I'll add the JSON data over here. Username was admin, and password was password. Okay, now when we try to hit this, we should get the information, right? And you can see that we are still getting the 401 unauthorized. So what we have to do is, our first request, like authenticate. This authentication has to be allowed, right? This API should be allowed from the Spring Security to generate the tokens without any credentials. Once we get the JWT, all the other requests should be authenticated. So let's add those information. We will bypass the authenticate from the Spring Security, add the permission to use this authenticate API, and for the rest of them, we will add the authentication. Let's go to the security configuration, what we added over here, and we need to override one method, that is configure method with the HTTP. This is the method. Now we need to override this. What we'll do, http.csrf dot disable dot authorize request dot ent matches. Okay, here we need to pass the API information. Okay, so I'll just go to the home controller and we need to bypass this. So I'll just give this information over here, and I need to permit, right? permit all, which is having authenticate, and then any request should be authenticated. So what we are doing is we are allowing this authenticate with permit all method, and then any request other than that should be authenticated. So let's hit it again and check. We should be able to use the authenticate and should be able to create the JWT token, and we should not be able to use the /API that we created. Okay, so let's run this again. Let's go to the Postman and let's try to hit it again, right? And you can see that the JWT token is created for us. Okay, so if you try to see this, copy this JWT token and we'll go to the jwt.io, and there is a debugger over here, and if you add this information over here, you can see that you will get all the information, right? You can see that the algorithm that we have used, okay, this is HS512 that we have used, right? And you can see that this is our payload data. Our subject is admin and our expiration date and the current time, right? So these are all the information, and you can see that this is the signature information, right? The three part which we have used. So this is how the JWT will be created. So you can see that we are easily able to see the payload data over here. So it's always advisable to not to store any secret information to JWT. Now for every request we do, we have to pass this JWT token over there, and our code should be able to understand this JWT token and to authenticate the user. So currently if I use directly this, our system won't be able to understand what we are passing over here. Okay, so we need to add the code for that. So what we'll do, we'll add the filter. Okay, so whenever any request is there, okay, for each and every request we need to authenticate, and we'll be using the once per request filter from the Spring Web to add this filter over there. So whenever we are trying to do some requests, that filter will be executed first and then the request will be passed to the next filter. So let's add that. So we'll go here and we'll create one package filter, and inside this we'll create the JWT filter. Okay, and this JWT filter will extend once per request filter, and we need to override the methods. We need to implement the methods, okay, that are do filter interval, and we will annotate this with @component, so it's in the Spring Radar. So here we'll be using the JWT utility and our user service. So let's create the members over here. Private JWT utility, and we'll auto wire it, and we'll also have private user service, and we'll auto wire it. Okay, now you can see that in the do filter interval we'll be having the request and response object, okay, of the HTTP servlet request and HTTP servlet response, and from here we need to get the authorization header. So what we'll be doing is, whenever we are passing the token over here, we'll be passing in the authorization header. So in the authorization header we'll be passing this. If I show you how we'll be doing is, whenever we pass this get method, okay, inside this headers we'll be adding the authorization header, and with a bearer namespace we'll be adding this JWT token to authenticate. Okay, so this is how we'll be passing the token information over here. So we need to get the authorization information from the request header, and we need to get this information, this token, without the bearer information. So bearer is just the namespace that we are using, and after getting this token we need to authenticate this token with the user details that we have, and if the authentication is successful we'll be allowing this request. Okay, so let's add the code for that. Okay, so what we'll be doing here is we'll be getting the authorization request over here. So we'll just use string authorization equals to HTTP servlet request dot get header authorization. We'll be needing token, okay, and we'll be needing the username as well. So we are creating the object, string object over here, and I'll check the if conditions over here. If null not equals to authorization and authorization dot starts with bearer namespace, then we should be doing the authorization. Okay, now once we do this, we need to get the token. So we'll be doing token equals to authorization dot, we'll be doing substring. Okay, in this substring we need to remove the bearer information, and after that we need to get this particular token over here. So you can see, if you count 0 1 2 3 4 5 6, so 6 characters we need to remove, so we need to start with the 7th character. So we'll add the substring over here from the 7th. Okay, so we'll get the token information from here, and we need to get the username. So username will get from the JWT utility dot get username from token, and we'll pass the token over here. So we got the username and token. Now we need to authenticate. So what I'll do, if null not equals to username, okay, then what I'll do here is, if my username is not null, then I need to load the user details. So I'll just load the user details equals to user service dot load user by username, and here I'll pass the username. So I'll get the user detail information over here. Now I got the user details object and I got the token, so I can validate if the token is valid or not. So I'll just validate the token. If JWT utility dot validate token, and here I need to pass token and user details. Now if the token is valid, I need to create the user and password token and to add in the security context. Okay, so let's do that. I'll just use username password authentication token equals to new token. I'll just add this information. This is wrong, right? I just need to use this user details over here, and this user details dot get authorities. I'll do username and password authentication token dot set details, and those details will be new web authentication details source dot build details from the request. Now we need to add this information in our security context. Okay, so we'll just add security context holder dot get context dot set authentication. So we added in our security context holder in our context. So here in the if condition we need to check if it's null, then only we should go in, right? So we'll add the condition that as well. Security context holder dot get context dot get authentication equal to null, because we added the authentication over here. So if it's null, then it should go in. Now once everything is done, we should be adding filter chain dot do filter. So we created the filter over here, and that filter we will be using, and we are passing the filter to the next chain. Okay, now we need to tell the Spring Security to not to use the session management, correct, because we are using the stateless behavior over here using the JWT. So let's add that configuration. So here we'll add dot and dot session management dot session creation policy should be session creation policy dot stateless. And now we need to add the filter over here which we created. Okay, that which filters we have to use. So let me just create the filter object, private JWT filter. I'll auto wire it, and I'll use the filter over here. Okay, http dot add filter before which filter JWT filter, and I should add before username and password authentication filter. So this JWT filter will be added before this filter is executed. So now everything is in place. We will be able to create the JWT token, and when we pass this JWT token, this JWT filter will come in picture. It will authenticate the request and it will allow us. So let's run this. Okay, so when we do the post over here, okay, with the authenticate in the body as username and password with admin and password, when I send over here, and you can see that my JWT token is created. Okay, now we need to use this JWT token. Okay, so let's just copy this JWT token over here, and we'll do the new request. That should be get localhost 8083, and in the headers I need to add authorization, and I need to add the bearer namespace and the entire token. And when we try to hit send, you can see that it is successful, right? And we are getting welcome to daily code buffer. But if we are not passing this information, we are not passing this authorization with the token, then we'll be getting this forbidden access, right? So you can see that this is how we can implement the JWT token, right? We created the JWT token and we also used the JWT token as a filter, and we are authenticating all the requests. So this is how we use in the production also. Just the thing which we have not implemented is the repository layer, right? The database layer to fetch the user information. And we also have not implemented the encoding and decoding of the password. Generally we'll be using the encoding and decoding of the password as well, and we'll be using the password encoder accordingly. So we are just using the plain text over here for the simplicity to check how to implement JWT. Now I'll be adding this code in the GitHub repository and I'll be sharing the link with you guys. If you have any questions related to any of the things that we have covered today regarding the JWT and Spring Security, then you can let me know in the comment section below. I'll try to help you out there as well. You can also connect with me in the social media. There also I'll try to help you out. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you won't miss a new video. That's all in this video, and till then, happy coding. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.